Okay,
Well,
we ready? Everybody ready?
You ready?
All right, thanks. This regular meeting of the Morgantown Utility Board on February 13th, 2024 will come to order. First item of business is approval of minutes.
I move to approve the minutes for the regular meeting of January 9th, 2024 as submitted.
I'll second.
Okay, are there any additions or corrections?
Nope.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Okay, do we have anyone here from the public to speak? I see no one. Do we have any letters?
No.
Okay. New business, we have none tonight, so we'll go right on to old business. First item is Peakview PSD.
Okay, so the Public Service Commission of West Virginia, the technical staff and legal staff have recommended approval of MUB and acquiring the Cheapview Public Service District. So right now it's with the commission, and so we're just waiting on them to issue their order.
Okay. Good news so far. Second, Sheet Lake wastewater treatment plant and collection system upgrades.
So Rich and I, we went with Scott Stearns and Sam Hosafar from Strand Associates to the DEP on January 16th to provide them with an update on the project. They like what they hear so far. The DEP did inform us that they are expecting all projects with EEG and the grants these are our grants from the state, that those should bid in August of this year. So we're pretty comfortable with the idea that we're going to bid in time, but everything has to wrap up by the end of 26. So hopefully Congress will extend that, but right now I don't know that that's happening.
Does it have to be encumbered or does it have to be spent by the end of 26?
Spent. So I think the state is IJDC. I think there are projects they're looking at that may not be able to meet those deadlines. But right now, I don't think we're one of them. So Terracon, they are the company that's doing the drilling for the geotechnical work. They've already been to the lift station. Then they're at the plant site now. So
Things are moving along.
yes, they are.
All right, office renovations.
So we had our work session last Friday. I think we've kind of settled on the design concept for the building. We're waiting for Omni now to send us a contract for the next phase of design, which will be brought to the board for approval. We just didn't have it there. He's been out of town traveling, so we should have that for the next meeting.
Upper Pocono Run Sanitary and Storm Restoration Project.
So we did put out a bid for tree removal. Those bids came in, the low bid came in at $545,000. This amount is just cost prohibitive for the project, so we're planning to just wait and bid the project in August and begin construction in November. We still have easements that are outstanding. That should all be cleared up by the time we would go to construction in November. And again, it won't interfere with bat habitat either. So
Right here, I thought we were going to each get an axe and we'd each have our turn to
Paul Bunyan action.
Yes.
So
This one.
yeah, that's right now we have 54 signed easements. We're still working on 20. I think of the 20, there were 7 that we have been in contact with Jeff and being processed. So all the design work is completed. Bid documents are almost completed, and we have permits in hand. So we're ready to go and move forward.
Mike, how many trees was that in that quote for $545,000?
It was acres, I think, the way it was bid. It was about 4 acres. 4 acres.
Are the trees identified at present that would be removed with tags?
Yeah, they were.
So any homeowner or anyone residing in that project area would be able to see
Yes,
visually which trees are removed.
yes.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good. EPA Brownfields grant?
So we have contract documents in hand. We're reviewing those now. EPA had a couple changes they wanted us to make in one document. Those changes have been made. So we should have our review wrapped up probably by the end of this week, next week at the latest. So it's just a process that you go through, but I feel good that we're going to get to demolition this year.
Okay, so once those documents are done and signed off on, we'll begin that process.
Right. The EPA has to approve us going to bid.
Okay.
So there'll be a little bit of process there, but I think for all parts, everything is just the way they want it now. But it is, it's the worst eyesore in Morgantown, I think, on the gateway in.
I know we call that the Dinsmore building, but unless that was actually a tire factory,
Yes.
it was at its very beginning?
No, it's been several different things over the years.
Yeah, do you know what its original purpose was?
I think it had to do with oil and gasoline, fuels, and things that.
God bless the EPA.
Yes, none of it was clean.
Now, this is the contract for demolition. What about the contract for restoration?
Well,
Do we have any plans for that?
it'll be capped
Okay.
at that time, and then right now that site is being considered for the new high service pump facility. It is,
Okay.
so it
A mud
yes,
facility.
and so we hope to keep a component for recreation, but it's still up in the air at the moment. There's nothing finalized.
Okay.
All right. Westwood Chaplain Hill Water and Sewer Project.
So our design is at the 90% completion stage. We still are working on easements and permits. We have some Corps of Engineer permits we have to get, so that's a process. They should both fall under the general permit for us to go under the river, but it just takes time. And we have just a few easements, Jeff, I think. Three left, and then we have one piece of property to acquire.
Yes.
For a water booster station.
All right. Morgan Run.
So Senate Bill 176 that's in process right now down at the legislature would increase funding eligibility for this particular project from $2 million to $3 million. So we have decided to pause filing an application with the Infrastructure Council until we know the outcome of this bill. We have encouraged the residents of Morgan's Run to contact their members of the legislature and make sure they know what their circumstances are out there, because this fits perfectly with that project. Corey Jones he's the lead person on the project. He's talked to them, and I sent an email to the representative, the person out there that's sort of been the lead, and it's my understanding they've all been writing, making phone calls. So the Mon County Commission, you may have read, they approved $2,000 per customer for the project, so we were getting about $56,000. And so we really appreciate their participation. They've done this in other projects in the past. This has been their way of helping out, so we really appreciate what they've done.
Good.
I'd assume the folks along Morgan Run that would be impacted by this are saying, yeah, it's worth the $1 million to hit pause for a little bit.
Oh, absolutely.
I would assume so.
The problem, the way it's currently written, is if your project is $2.2 million, you're completely ineligible. So you don't get anything. That's why, and this project is just about $3 million.
Okay.
Logic?
Yeah.
Let me say this: if we get it, we're going to be grateful, very grateful, to get
Yes.
those dollars.
You're right. You're absolutely
So,
right.
Yes, and we've spoken with Marie Prezioso. She understands, the importance of this project and our encouragement to see this bill. It's already made its way through the Senate. It's over in House Finance.
That's great. That's very good. So,
Now, is that Morgan's Run? That's on one of the tributaries of Cheat Lake, correct?
Yes.
And with that development, I think, if I remember the land use plans, there are currently individuals who reside in that area. Plus, isn't that the area where they're planning on building the new West Virginia charter school?
I think it's
In that area?
Yes, I think there's something about that area. We were talking about that earlier today, but I don't know exactly where, Tom.
Well, and I think there's some large blocks of land back there that might then become eligible for development, which cannot be developed at the present time. So we may end up getting a lot more customers down the line, or at least substantial increases in the volume that they have to take in order to, as a result of the construction of those lines. So I think it's a potential growth area.
Okay, keep that on the radar screen. All right, any other questions anybody has on any of the old business subjects? None? All right, it's time for the general manager's report.
Yeah, so it's kind of dovetails into some projects we're doing here at MUB right now internally. We're working over at Baird Street. Our contractor, National, is it Granite or Granite? I think the name just escaped me, but mobilized there at the end of January. They've been prepping and they are putting lining material in, but it is weather dependent, and last night we had an inch of rain. So no work today. They can't get inside the box and do anything, but hopefully they're going to get that wrapped up either the end of this week or next week. Should be in and out. So that's a good project. The airport water and sewer projects, both of those are completed now. Both of those turned out very well. On Lestravia, we finished up lining of the stormwater and sanitary sewer pipe. We did 546 feet of 8-inch sanitary sewer line and 380 feet of 12-inch stormwater line. We did that project in 5 days.
Wow.
So it was, and that's trying to get ahead of city paving.
Okay, good.
I think that's been on their books for a little bit. The Bureau of Public Health, every 3 years, they do what's called a sanitary survey, which is a thorough inspection of your water treatment facility and your water booster stations, your tanks, and all of those other appurtenances that go with the plant and delivery. No deficiencies were observed. That's as good as it gets with DHHR. John Smirka is our chief operator there. He and his team are really to be commended for doing a great job.
Very good.
And I did an interview with the district engineer prior to his inspection, and so it is a very thorough inspection.
sounds like some withholding parents. We're very proud of you by saying no deficiencies were observed.
Yes, yes. You don't see things like "great job, Mom."
Well, at least they didn't say you could do better.
Right. There were no "you could do betters." There were none of that. So there were no major or minor deficiencies. I should be clear on that. So that's all good.
Yes, definitely. All right. Anybody have any other comments or questions for Mike? All right. Board members' discussions. Anyone have anything to offer?
I just might mention that on March the 5th, Mike, Rich, and Barbara will be attending the Tuesday morning meeting of the Cheat Lake Rotary Club, where Mike will be talking about mud and bringing up for the community out there some information about our wastewater plant expansion.
And we're also going to include just some what's going on at MUB,
Right.
things about MUB
Right.
and what we've been working on, and some future projects. So we're excited to be invited.
We're
to
looking
take
forward
part.
to it.
We're looking forward to breakfast, right?
I know Rich is. He's mentioned that a couple
I
of times.
see, okay.
They have a great breakfast, Mike. He made sure his name was on that invite.
He's been there before, so he knows
He knows. He knows they make good eggs.
those shrimp and grits.
Oh, boy, good.
No,
No, you don't.
we used to have them.
Oh, I see. What happened?
Well, Tropics stopped catering.
No, you just didn't want to pay the dues, I know. No breakfast stuff. Okay, looking forward to it. Thanks for the invitation, we
Yes.
appreciate it. I think it'll be fun. All right, we have some special topics to discuss. Do we need an executive session? Would someone like to?
Yeah, I'll move to convene an executive session of the Board of Directors under the provisions of the West Virginia Code Sections 6-9A-4, 2, 9, and 12 to discuss personnel matters, advanced construction planning, and other confidential matters which are exempt from disclosure under the West Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and further move to adjourn the meeting at the conclusion of the executive session.
Okay, so moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.